Hey there, a warm welcome to one and all for the Tech Tuesdays webinar on data quality for data integration. I'm Rinda, your host for today's session, and we have Helen Kinsella, Principal Product Specialist, and Ranganathamu Kusuma, Product Manager, with us to present for the session. Before we start this webinar, let's go through some housekeeping tips. The webinar will be for 1 hour. That includes a 15 minutes Q&A. You can post your queries in the Q&A box. Dial-in participants are muted for the entire session. The session is being recorded and will be available in the Informatica Support YouTube channel and the Success Portal. You'll also be able to download the slide deck from Success Portal. Please feel free to put in your feedbacks and suggestions for the session in the post-webinar survey. The Tech Tuesdays webinars are hosted within the Success Portal, which is a Mac learning platform that offers free and unlimited learning to all registered users. This feature-rich platform was launched to help you learn and use Informatica products better. You can go through these important links for your product adoption journey with Informatica after this session. Over to you, Helen and Ranganatha. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this Tech Tuesdays webinar on data quality for data integration. This webinar will walk you through cloud data quality with a general introduction to DQ and will demonstrate key capabilities of cleansing, standardization, verification, and deduplicating data, and how data quality fits within the data pipelines. My name is Ranganathamu Kusuma, and I'm one of the product managers for cloud data quality here at Informatica. Today, also joined with me my colleague Helen Kinsella from our product specialist team, and she's going to demo the product.
Firstly, let us look at some of the industry trends, numbers, and business issues. Research show that the amount of the data created and replicated reached a new high in 2020. This growth is higher than the anticipated growth. This increase was all caused by COVID-19 pandemic, as more and more people work from home and learn from home and used home entertainment options more often. This growth is almost doubling every year. In the backdrop of global pandemic, the digital transformations have accelerated over the last 18 to 24 months. And that's now organizations are truly looking to modernize their application stacks, their data and analytics stacks. Research show that more than 80% of the CEOs say the pandemic has accelerated the digital transformations for the businesses. And according to a McKinsey report, 30% of their total enterprise time was spent on non-value added tasks because of the poor data quality. 80% of the data quality issues stem from human error, like creating different versions of the same data. The digital transformations will fail without data and analytics. The high quality, trustworthy data is critical to the digital transformations. According to a recent survey by Gartner, they reported that data quality and data governance is the most important initiatives for the data management strategies. Data management teams report they spend 56% of their time on production initiatives, but only 22% of them are on the innovation. 66 respondents ranked the data governance and data quality as the top priority through 2022. However, 60% view tasks associated with ensuring data quality and supporting governance and security as being challenging. To drive data management initiatives that support business objectives like digital transformations, risk and fraud analysis, personalization, etc., organizations are investing in a range of data management initiatives like moving workloads to the cloud, master data management, investing in AI and machine learning. So the data that is driving these initiatives needs to be fit for purpose. It needs to be cleansed, standardized, verified, and deduplicated to the right level. For example, when building a data pipeline for data analytics, analysts may need a minimum level of cleansing, data correlation with some reference data. However, to identify if the data is valid and fit for purpose, or to check if the data contains duplicates, they will need higher level of data quality checks like address validation, duplicate checks, enriching the data, completely cleansing the data, so on, etc. So what are the challenges and roadblocks here? Some of the biggest challenges our customers seeing include inconsistent data quality levels across the data sources and landscapes, lack of confidence in your data delays decisions and lost opportunities, constantly adding new data sources with diverse formats and level of quality, fragmented and manual quality check processes. As you can sense, these data pipeline or data management initiatives delayed and even fail as the data quality requirements are secondary to the project and are often overlooked. Data quality is not just an IT problem, it is a business problem. How DQ problems are surfaced may differ. Your customers may not say they have a quality issue or they have a quality problem, but listen out to these type of statements. The underlying solution to all of them comes from the data quality. So let's take a quick look at some of the questions we are hearing from our line of business and IT that are directly relating to the data quality issues. Why do we have conflicting revenue reports? Are we complying with the regulatory reporting requirements? How can we improve customer experience and reduce churn? Why is our investment in cloud or digital transformations not paying dividends? What markets or new products should we invest in? So what do organizations need to do to be successful? Organizations need to empower the use of data quality for everyone and everywhere. They need to do so by enabling access through any integration pattern or any data type for any type of user with skill sets spanning deeply technical all the way to the non-technical data consumers, non-technical business users. Extend to all stakeholders, data domains, projects, and applications, regardless of where the data resides, whether on-premises or in the cloud. And those group of non-technical group of users that organizations need to provide a self-service capability, data quality tools for data integration pipelines or other data management initiatives. According to TDWA report, organizations must take a holistic approach with key data management practices, including data quality, governance, data preparation, and integration that support and foster self-service practices and enable deeper insight across the enterprises. And that is how organizations empower line of business to access data, integrate data, and ensure high quality of trusted data. Informatica's Intelligence Data Management Cloud is designed and built to meet the modern requirements of the data management. And to connect the data sources, users need to access the data to support data management initiatives. Informatica data quality capabilities form a part of the Intelligence Data Management Cloud, be that of the core profiling processes, advanced data quality cleansing and deduplication for your data pipeline, data integration, or in support of business understanding and governance processes, data quality processes. These DQ capabilities are readily available, easy to use, and integrated. You will see a demo shortly. And we do all of this to the highest security principles and standards like SOC 2, HIPAA, and we hold ourselves to the highest standards alongside hyperscales such as AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or Salesforce. The key to ensure high data quality is to use a consistent quality process and methodology. As you can see from the diagram, this process has 4 key phases. We at Informatica have implemented technology that enables users to profile data, discover the data issues, understand the data distributions, and with that understanding, define quality rules that apply to the data. Quality is in the eye of data consumer. What are the quality checks considered appropriate for a given data report? Is it for the regulator, for the CFO, or is it for the data scientist? And once the data quality rules are defined, apply to data sets in the data integration pipeline. Once applied, measure and monitor. This is not a one-time activity, but an ongoing cyclical process between discover, define, apply, measure, or monitor. This process allows you to ensure your data is appropriate for the project that you're building and avoids garbage in, garbage out scenario. With that, I would like to introduce Informatica's cloud data quality SaaS offering surfaced on the Informatica's Intelligent Data Management Cloud. Other data management services that are surfaced here are also available to organizations. They can use any service and the pricing is based on the user's consumption. Informatica Data Quality Service offers rule specification for creating custom DQ rules using simple if-then-else-like statements, dictionary for creating and managing reference data sets, and verifier to verify and correct addresses. Our solution can verify and correct addresses from 240 plus countries and regions. Cleanse for creating step-based configuration for cleansing and standardization. Deduplicate for handling duplicate records. Parse for parsing out tokens from input string. Examples like parsing out a phone number or an email from input string. And also labeler to describe or label input data. Examples like labeling names such as first name, last name, prefix or suffix, and so on. Now, let me show you a quick graphic on how our DQ rules can be integrated into a data pipeline. Data pipeline without the data quality checks included do not produce high quality data, the data that is fit for purpose. Informatica data integration and data quality allows user to set up data pipeline and include data quality checks. Data quality rules can be applied by simply click and drag into the data pipeline. These data quality rules and reference data sets are centrally managed and are reusable assets that can be attached to one or more data pipelines. These DQ rules are created typically by a business analyst and leveraged by data pipeline creators like data engineers or data integrators to insert DQ into pipeline for any data type, be it clinical or financial or product and more. I think with this, I'll hand the stage to my colleague Helen to demo the product. Helen, please take over. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Welcome to today's demonstration of the data profiling and data quality services available in the Informatica Intelligent Cloud platform. My name is Helen Kinsella. I'm a product specialist for data governance and data quality. The data profiling and data quality services can be used to support your data integration and data migration requirements. When moving data into the data warehouse, you want to ensure only quality data is loaded to the data warehouse. Similarly, you want to avoid migrating bad records to your new system. Let's first examine data profiling. Following a simple wizard, I've profiled a table called Product Details. This table contains a mix of product information and purchase order details. Profiling gives me a set of out-of-the-box statistics. These statistics are generated based on the data contained in each column. We can quickly see if there are any null values shown in red, or any values that contain white spaces or blanks. In this case, things are looking good. There are no completeness issues with the data. We can also understand which columns have 100% unique or distinct values. This is important to confirm for columns holding unique identifiers. Any unexpected duplicates need to be investigated. The number of patterns for each column is also displayed. Here we can see for contact number that we have 4 patterns, 4 different ways of representing the phone numbers in the data. I can click on the column name to see more details. Here I can see the value frequency. I can use the slider to see different ranges of the data values. And for each value, I can see how often it occurs in the data. So this helps understand, are the data values as you expect? Are they in the ranges that you expect? Or do you need to take some action before moving or migrating the data? I can also view the patterns in more detail. I can see that the majority of patterns are 2 letters, colon, white space, followed by 9 digits. And this corresponds with the data values shown here. Later, we will create a cleanse asset to remove this noise, this PH colon, from the contact numbers before loading the data into the data warehouse. Let's examine the detailed view for origin country. Here, when I look at the value frequency, I can see values such as USA and America. I can see England, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the UK. So I can see that I've got non-standard values in the data. For downstream reporting and to ensure no values are missed from the report, it's beneficial to standardize the country names. Later, we will apply a data quality rule to standardize the country name before loading the data warehouse. In addition to understanding the value frequencies and the patterns in the data, in some instances, I want to ensure the data across columns is consistent. For example, for each record, the product launch date should occur before the renewal date. It makes sense, right? But what is the reality in the data? To check this, I've added a rule to the profile. This is a data quality rule specification, and it comes out of the box with the data quality core bundle. It checks the dates are consistent. When the profile runs, it profiles the output of this rule, so I can see a summary of the results. The profile shows 108 records have passed the rule, but there are 9 records that have failed the rule. I can confirm that the renewal dates are occurring before the product launch dates. Later, I will route these records to a remedial table for further investigation. For now, I won't load these records to the data warehouse. At the summary page, I can see a preview of the source records. I can see that the product name currently has mixed case. I may decide to standardize this to uppercase or perhaps title case, and we'll look at this later in the demo. In this demo, we have profiled product detail information. Bear in mind, Informatica data profiling can be applied to all domains: product, customer, financial, healthcare. Also, as the data in the source system may change over time, you can schedule the profile to run regularly. As Informatica stores the summary statistics, you can view the previous profile runs, and you can compare profile runs to understand trends in the data. Let's switch to look at data quality. You can create and configure data quality assets that you can later apply to profiles or include in your data integration mappings. Once configured, these assets are reusable and form a library of data quality standards that can be applied to the relevant sources. Informatica provides the Cloud Data Quality Core Bundle, which is a library of pre-configured data quality assets. Dictionaries are lists of values and alternative values. They are commonly used in validation, standardization, and cleansing rules. Let's open one of the Core Bundle dictionaries. Here, the list of worldwide currencies is listed. You can search for specific currencies. This entry can be used to validate currency codes or standardize United States of America and dollars to USD. The cleanse asset can be used to remove noise or replace characters in the data. Let's examine the Core Bundle cleanse asset, which replaces diacritic characters with their English alphabet counterparts. Here, the cleanse asset is configured to replace input values with dictionary values. Input values that exist in the dictionary are mapped or standardized to the value in the first column. The preview of the dictionary is shown here. You can test the configuration by entering test values in the input area, choosing the runtime environment, and clicking Test. Great, the diacritic characters have been correctly replaced. You can search the Core Bundle and search for assets of different types. For example, we could search for the verifier asset, which verifies and cleanses addresses. This asset is pre-configured to verify and standardize global addresses. Informatica supports address verification for over 240 countries where the addresses are compared to country reference data. Verifying and standardizing addresses to ensure they are deliverable addresses makes sense before loading the records to the target system or data warehouse. Let's review the current mapping to load product detail records to the Amazon Redshift Cloud Data Warehouse. When we profiled the product detail Oracle table, we identified a number of quality issues. Noise in the contact numbers, non-standard origin country names, and product names with inconsistent cases. To address these issues, I've configured some data quality assets. I can easily add these assets to the mapping by selecting from the transformation palette and then dragging and dropping onto the mapping. I've introduced these assets into the mapping, so my mapping now looks like this. I read the product detail source table, and I'm then applying a data quality asset to cleanse the phone number to remove the noise, those PH colons that we saw earlier. I've also introduced a cleanse asset to change the product description to title case, and I've configured a rule specification which relies on a country dictionary to standardize the origin countries to standard values. I can now preview on the source records as they flow through to see the effect of the cleanse and standardization. Rather than look at all of the columns, I can click the settings here and we can zone in, for example, on the contact number and look at the corresponding cleansed phone number. Here I can see that the cleansed phone number has removed the PH colon from the contact numbers. So that's great, that's working as expected. Let's examine the country, the origin country and the standardized country. I can maximize the preview window and I can scroll down to see that now England has been standardized to the United Kingdom. And that was one of the countries where we saw that there was non-standard values. Following the cleansing and standardization that can be done, I've also applied a rule which then checks the quality of the cleansed records. So this is a rule specification called out here. I can click on it to open in the data quality service. And you can see it's made up of a number of checks. It's checking that the product country, the origin country is a valid country, that the phone number is a valid phone number, and it also includes a rule step to validate that the renewal date occurs after the launch date. If you remember in the profile, there was an issue with the number of records where this was not the case. So going back to the mapping, after I apply this final validation, I'm then going to route valid records to be correctly loaded into the Redshift Cloud Data Warehouse. But invalid records, for example, records that may have invalid launch and renewal dates, I'm going to route those to a bad record table so that I can take some action and investigate further before loading them into the Cloud Data Warehouse. I can preview here on the router. And I can choose the invalid records. Here I can see that I have a number of records that are invalid, and not surprisingly, it's because they have failed the date check rule. The valid records will flow into the Redshift Cloud Data Warehouse. Let's review the data quality asset types. In our mapping, we included some cleanse assets and some rule specifications to cleanse the records before loading the data warehouse. The rule specification to standardize the country uses a dictionary for this purpose. Data quality can also identify duplicate records and, if configured, can generate a new consolidated or preferred record. Perhaps when you are issuing a marketing campaign, you might choose to issue to the preferred contact rather than multiple contacts who are likely to be the same person. Let's examine a mapping where customer orders have duplicate customer details. This mapping first verifies the address, which will standardize addresses to a common format and will help detect the likely duplicates. I then assign a group key. It makes sense to compare customers within the same country and not waste time comparing across countries. The deduplicate asset then performs a fuzzy match to cluster together records which are likely to be the same person. Additionally, a new preferred record is generated. Let's preview and examine the output. Let's increase the size of the preview window. And let's examine cluster number 5. Here, Alfonso Barlett, living at this address, is clustered together with Alfonso Burns, living at a very similar address. And the new preferred record is generated using elements of both records. The final deduplicated output is sent to the target. Going back to data quality, we also have parse capabilities. Parse capabilities can be used, for example, if you have a long string with product details perhaps on it, and you want to split out elements of that string to generate separate columns. This is a mapping to take TV descriptions which are coming through on one field, and using the data quality parse capabilities, split the information out over several fields. Here you can see that the original description, that long string, has been parsed into the columns TV brand, type, screen resolution, and so on. And finally, we can write that parsed information to the target. Going back to data quality, let's recap what you've seen today. This has been a high-level demonstration. We've talked about the address verification capabilities Informatica has for more than 240 countries. In one mapping, we've introduced cleanse to remove noise from phone numbers, rule specifications to standardize countries and validate launch dates, for example. We've quickly looked at deduplication and how Informatica can perform fuzzy matching on records to detect those duplicates. Again, we've looked at a very brief parse example, taking product information and splitting it out to several fields. That concludes today's demonstration. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. That was a great demo. Okay, so far, what we have seen today was using the Informatica data quality tools, you can easily profile the data, define and apply data quality rules to the data pipeline to ensure high quality, trustworthy data. Simplicity. To democratize data quality, Informatica offers low-code or no-code experiences for users of all skills to drive simplicity. Informatica data quality provides that are easy to use drag and drop capability. This allows business users, data analysts to rapidly build, test, negative test, and run data quality plans to analyze, cleanse, standardize, and match the data. Productivity, whether you are managing the quality of the data on premises or in public cloud, such as Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, you will enjoy the flexibility of rule deployment. You can reuse rules from tool to tool, saving your data stewards time and effort by not duplicating the work efforts. What's more, you'll be able to reuse your processes across initiatives in master data management, big data, and data integrations. And using pre-built, reusable, and accelerators, accelerate project with a comprehensive set of pre-built business rules. Reuse common data quality rules across any data from any source to save time and resources. Scale. We are ensuring that organizations realize the elastic serverless scale of cloud-first, cloud-native data management architecture, spanning from departmental workloads to enterprise-level workloads. All these built on a cloud-native, microservices-based, elastic serverless stack that is a multi-cloud. And Informatica is a 13-time Gartner Magic Quadrant leader for data quality solutions. And we are also Gartner Magic Quadrant leaders in data integration tools, metadata management solutions, enterprise integration platform as a service, and also master data management solutions. If you are interested and would like to learn more about our cloud data quality offering, please do subscribe for a 30-day free trial on the Informatica website. And now we'd be happy to take any questions from you. Please use the Q&A box to type in your questions, and we'll type our responses back to you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed today's session.
Thank you, Kusuma. Thank you, Helen, for this presentation. I have that came through here, and I would like to bring this live and maybe answer to everybody here. So, Kusuma, there is a question about profiling. When you do profiling the statistics, when and what data leaves the customer cloud, and when is transmitted to Informatica?
Thanks, Ricardo. Like Ricardo said, thanks everyone for joining. I'll take this question. When a user creates a profile, what it does is basically when a user tries to run the profile, it profiles the data and stores the profile statistics into our data store, data store that is in the Informatica cloud. But user has the control over whether the user can actually store any of the sensitive information or not. So there's a configuration parameter where they could set that they could turn it off or turn it on. When it is turned it off, so we don't store any of the value frequencies. But when it is turned on, and user still has more controls, like access controls, which user has the permission to see the data value frequencies, which user do not have it. And furthermore, user has the control over whether they want to delete any of the data that resides in the Informatica cloud. So like using all these controls, user has more flexibility and then control over the data that we store in the Informatica data store. And then they can decide based on their business use case whether to store the data in the cloud or not. And also on top of that, we are providing strong security practices, and we also have well-established security certifications. Like in USA we have SOC 2 certification, and likewise I think we provide strong security practices that are needed for any of the SaaS offering. Ricardo, do you like to add anything on top of that?
Yes, sure. Also, we don't store the full row, right? What we store here is the top values of every column, and there is no relationship. So there is no way to rebuild the original record the way it is in the source. But well put that we have controls. You can say, I don't want you to profile this column because I think has sensitive data, and I don't want the value frequency analysis. Or if it goes to cloud, you can control who can see it, and you can delete it and purge at the time of your choice. It's not something that you have to request Informatica to delete. You have full control of that. And the deletion is physical deletion. It's not logical, so the data actually goes away. All right, there is a question here about scorecards and what is included for monitoring. I can answer that one. So first, there is already profiling. If you run profiling multiple times, you can compare the execution. You choose 2 executions, and we compare. So it doesn't need to be the current execution, the last. You can choose any 2. It can be the first and then the 10th, and you compare. And then we compare and tell you if the new values change it, how many patterns change it, and so on. We also are releasing now in December, so there is the December release, which is going to go live in your environment if you are a customer already in December 16th and 17th. We are releasing the first version of Scorecard. This is going to be available for customers that are in AWS or Amazon pods, which is the great majority here. And there will be some license that needs to be checked. So if you don't see it, it's because you don't have the license, which is the consumption license. And then you can contact Informatica. We are going to talk to you. We intend to do more sessions and in webinars just to talk about scorecard because it's something that has been asked longer. All right, there is a question here about, you talk about reusable Informatica content. So where is it available, and is there a cost for the data quality content that you spoke about? Can you answer
Yeah,
this,
there's no additional cost to use this Informatica reusable content. What we call these the reusable content is in the cloud we call bundles. In the past, like in a non-prom solution, we used to call it as accelerators or content packs. But in the cloud, they're called as bundles. So anyone having a license to use the cloud data quality, they are free to download or install those bundles. They get free contents like widely used reference data and frequently used data quality rules like checking numbers, checking whether it is an integer type or is it data or not. And likewise, like there are other commonly used rules, complex rules. For example, checking, or validating the emails or the phone numbers. So that these are free of cost. They can go to our Informatica administration service and they can find it. There's an add-on bundle, and from there they can find data quality. If they type in something like data quality and search, it'll show all the available.
Seems I lost Kusuma, but yeah, so the content is available for free, and we have core, what we call core. We already have some content for Americas, which is United States, Canada, and Brazil, and we started to release content for Europe as well, with UK being the first one. Let me see other questions here. How profiling works for very large table with hundreds of millions of rows? Does the Informatica take the data to the agent and process algorithm? Yeah, so we don't push down. So we pull the data out of the source and we have to bring it to the agent. You're right. So we cannot do push down because the logic that we have, for instance, for getting the data type or to infer patterns, this is not something that we can push down. Some of the processing we do push down, like some row counts, value frequency, but not everything. I want also to say that we have two engines that you can process profiling today. One is the Secure Agent, and for Avro and Parquet, you can use the Elastic, which uses Spark, which for very large volumes or Spark, it may make sense. Is IDQ be replaced with data quality and profiling in the cloud? No, we don't plan to replace it. They are going to be hand-to-hand. We have several thousands of customers using Informatica data quality, and we don't have plans to end of life or anything like that on premise. So they are going to go both in parallel. Now, very long term, and we still don't have this visibility, we will have a migration program for customers that want to modernize to cloud. And there are some enterprises that say, well, I don't want to maintain software anymore. I want to go to cloud. So we are working in 2022 to have a migration path from IDQ direct to cloud. And then you may choose the option to continue and move to cloud. I don't have the verifier option when I am in CDQ. All right, so Brett, you can open a ticket, but every customer that has data quality has the ability to use verifier, but you have to purchase another license, which is for the address doctor, which is the content. So maybe you don't have this license. Then you get a license key where you add into the agent, and from them, the data is going to be downloaded for the countries that you sign up, and you can use the verifier. do you recommend use CDI Elastic rather than CDI mapping to process CDQ rules? Well, it depends on the source type. CDQ rules you can run in both. You can choose to run in Elastic for any source that is supported by Elastic, or you can choose to run on agent. If it's more of a big data, it makes more sense to the big data source. It makes more sense to go for Elastic. But Brett, what I can share with you is some statistics on benchmarks that we have, or some sources that we run on agent or in cloud, and I'm gonna send that to you. If there are rules created on-prem can be imported IDQ. I think you meant to CDQ, right? So as of today, there is a program for migration. For rules that you export to Power Center, those can be migrated to cloud. So, but again, the path is rules that you can export to Power Center. The direct path between IDQ to CDQ, we are building in 2022, and it's going to take one more year for that. So there is a special program for customers that want to do the migration from Power Center to CDI and CDQ. And if you are also an IDQ customer that have rules that were exported to Power Center, you can bring them as well. And then comes rules, come the dictionaries, and so on. Let me see. Is there feature difference between premise and cloud? All right, so in terms of transformations, most, I would say that 95% of what customers use on premise are already available in the cloud. There are some transformations that were like case converter that exists in on-premise. You won't find a case converter in cloud because the clients can do the same thing. So we are not looking for parity. What we do is we take a feature, and if it's something that customers are using, we review to see if that's the really best way to do it, and we bring to cloud. Now, the two big ticket items are not in the cloud yet now, is the ability to expose new rules as REST API. In on-premise, you can expose as API through SOAP, not a REST API. And we are working in 2022 to release that. And the second piece is exception management in the way it is, or similar way as it is in on-premise. As of today, as you see Helen demoing, we say write to a table, route to a table, and then you take the data from there. But we are working in exception management for 2022. So those are the two biggest items. Other than that, everything that we have on-premise is available in the cloud. Is the other question here? If we set a limit on sample data size, does it pull that much data only? Yes, so it depends on the source. There are certain techniques you can do, and I believe the question here is for profiling, and I assume it is for profiling. So if the source supports sampling or the first rows, we are just going to pull that number of rows. The only limitation is for flat files. The flat files, we end up reading everything. There is no way to stop it. Technically, that's how it is today. But other sources like relational or cloud, if it is supported, we take only the data that the user asked for. So if you go to docs.informatica.com and you go to cloud profiling, we tell for every source what techniques are available. All rows is always available. Some of them support first and rows, and one Snowflake supports sampling, real sampling, because the source supports that. Let me see, what else is in here? During the data mapping step in the target, if you use a cleanse objects, is there a way to retain the map features? I see. No, we don't have. The auto map works if the names are the same, right? But if you add an extension, the auto map doesn't work. I know there is the data integration team is working in better ways to do it, using more of a fuzzy match for auto mapping, but as of today, it's not available. I don't have a date for it yet, but it's something that came far. Can CDQ rule be parameterized and parameters overreading at runtime? No, it cannot be parameterized today. So your source, your mapping may have other transformations that can be parameterized, but the ports on CDQ cannot be parameterized. All right, so what else I have here? Exception management, so I spoke about it. Rules as API, I spoke about it. Confirm that if we point CDQ at a snowflake table, we can use data quality rules to cleansing or Snowflake. Yes, Snowflake is supported for both data profiling and also when you add in a mapping and you use DQ transformations in there, you can do cleansing, deduplication, labeler, all the transformations, address verification you can do is Snowflake data. Here, if I have more. The CDQ agent, use any agent to run its process like IICS. Well, CDQ, it is in IICS. So IICS is the old terminology that we are using now. You see more in the Informatica material, something called Informatica Data Management Cloud, or IDMC. And yes, so cloud data quality is part of IDMC or IICS and uses this exactly same agent. So you install the agent on premise, the data is going to be processed on the agent behind our premise. And as I said at the beginning, if there is profiling, we push the statistics to Informatica Cloud. And then data governance, data catalog, MDM also is coming. It's all on the same platform, and that's the beauty of it. Now it's not different products that talk and are integrated with each other. Those products were born integrated already. So you see CDQ or data quality rules you can use in catalog, you can use in governance, you can use in MDM, and you can use in data integration. It's exactly the same rules. You create it once, and you run it multiple times or use it in multiple places. So Brett, if you don't see the transformation, you are the admin. And I know that Perkins was also saying that the label was not showing up. So I don't know if someone already got in contact with you, but he noticed that some users don't have the permission to the assets. So if you go to the administration page and you go to the user, you check the role for the user that is there, and you check if the labeler or if the verifier is checked. And once it's checked, it's going to show up for you as an asset. All right, I think that's all the questions I got so far. So Brett, Kusuma is going to reach out to you or to talk about the transformations. And I got a question about performance on elastic and non-elastic. I'm going to also publish some materials that I have on performance, okay? I have your name here, Nicholas. All right, Kusuma, anything else from your side? We're there? No? All right, so thanks everybody for joining the session today. I hope you guys have a good holiday. If you have a break, enjoy. And feel free to send questions towards me, Ricardo, or Kusuma, or Helen. Okay. Thanks again for your time. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.